Violet Gonda Productions recently highlighted ZANU PFs' poisonous pole recipe, so it's only fair to examine if the Citizens Coalition for Change can concoct an effective antidote. As elections roll around, the main opposition returns to its own election cookbook to conjure up a recipe that will be stronger than that being dished out by the ruling party. At every election, they claim to have a different recipe and assure their voters that this is the one that will work. But the recipe always seems the same and leaves a bad taste with their supporters. So, let's see what the Citizens Coalition for Change have to put into their poll poikikos. The largest ingredient they're relying on is voter registration, convincing themselves that every new voter is a CCC supporter and that an overwhelming voter turnout will work out in their favor. The problem is that, with partisan policing and ZANU PF supporters allowed to gather and intimidate freely, this ingredient doesn't have much taste. This also applies to defend your vote, asking voters to hang around polling stations during counting to ensure the counting process is free and fair. But the same unappetizing threat of violence and arrest is a very real possibility. So, is the CCC left with just a watery soup as their recipe for election triumph? Certainly not. As they have told us many times, as both the MDC and as CCC, they have a secret ingredient, a winning ingredient. But they can't tell us what this exact addition to the election recipe is, because that would give away their plan to the enemy. So, 23 years after a strong opposition appeared on Zimbabwe's political menu, those that support the CCC must go and vote, hoping that this time there really is a secret ingredient to an appetizing electoral victory meal. But no meal is tasty without the salt, and the opposition have relied on SADC and other African observers to bring large sprinklings of the salt of revelation and truth about ruling party electoral machinations to negate a ZANU PF victory. But the only salt these observers encounter is in their hotels with their daily allowances. Should the election be lost, then there is the legal route, but the judiciary is accused of being captured, so this too doesn't look like an appetizing route to victory. In the meantime, the CCC garnishes its dish with numerous selfies, scriptures, and words of encouragement on social media, and extols the electorate not to forget that God is in it.